So hey there guys, so today's video is going to be another Best in Beauty video. I'm almost done filming these. This is face products part 2, and we're going to be talking about bronzers, blushes, and highlighters. You guys know blushes and highlights hold a special place in my heart. Highlighters are my favorite makeup product next to eyeshadow. I just love highlighting products. So we're going to get into my favorite bronzers that I tried this year first, because there's definitely the least amount of those. Honestly, when it comes to blushes and stuff like that, I end up sticking with the same blushes and stuff. I'm trying to like organize where everything is on my desk right now. It's kind of like a mess, but we're going to get through it. So, also I wanted to whip out these as well to mention as my favorites too, even though I did try these at the end of 2019. I feel like whatever I try now in 2019, like whatever I try within that year, I'm going to mention in my Best in Beauty for that year. It doesn't matter when I try it. I pretty much know when I fall in love with a product, so that's going to be my judgment now. If I can't stop using it, or if I know that it's amazing from like the first time I try it, that's when I'm going to mention it. So that's why I'm going to include a couple of highlighters and blush palettes that I tried at the end of the year as well. So let's get into bronzers. So of course my number one bronzer this year, and I think you guys are going to know, this one's no surprise, is the Thrive Cosmetics Blur and Sculpt Bronzing Powder. And this one is the Rhea bronzer. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit under the weather still. I can't shake this damn cough. It's not the worst cold I've ever had. It's just like lingering, and I'm kind of just like getting really nasally. It's not like the worst ever, but anyway, the Rhea bronzer from Thrive is still my favorite bronzer I tried this year. Like I've said before, the Thrive products just really, really, really impressed me. They were some of the best powder products that I tried in 2019, and this is no exception. This bronzer is beautiful. It just is super soft, and it really is so easy to blend, and it's just so buttery smooth, and I absolutely love it. It's been my go-to bronzer the whole year. Ever since I got it, I can't believe I haven't hit pan on it, but honestly, I haven't hit pan on any bronzers this year. I did try quite a few new bronzers this year for some reason, and I actually really, really liked this one. I want to also mention this one. I didn't want to mention too many bronzers, but I'm going to mention this one because I actually really liked this one too. I was kind of hesitant as to what I would think about this bronzer in 2019 because Kathleen Light said that she didn't really like it. Sorry, I don't know. Oh my god, I'm like so annoyed. My nose all of a sudden started running. Let me mention my other favorite bronzer first over that one, because this one I love even more. Of course, my favorite drugstore bronzer is the Milani Baked Bronzer in the shade Dolce. I really was trying to work on hitting pan on this bronzer in 2019, but since this is a baked formula, it takes a hell of a lot longer to use up. But as you guys can see, it's pretty much completely flat now. It used to be a lot more raised because it is a baked bronzer, so that is how much I've used of it, so that's pretty good. This is my absolute favorite go-to bronzer besides the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer when I want something really lightweight, when I want something to be really glowy. This was like my go-to bronzer in the summertime. I absolutely love it. It just adds such a beautiful glow to your skin, and it's so beautiful and easy to work with, so I love this bronzer. And then the other one, of course, I have to mention is my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, which is, again, the only bronzer that I hit pan on, I think earlier in the year, like January or something, and I didn't hit pan on any other bronzers, and I still haven't made too much progress on this. Like, this bronzer literally lasts forever, and I have been using it quite a bit. I'm getting hot, so I gotta turn my space heater off. I have been using it quite a bit recently to get more progress out of it, so I've been using it as like my everyday like more natural bronzer. And again, I still love it just as much as I got, like, when I first got it. It's just so good, and it's so buttery and beautiful. It is a really light bronzer, like, it's definitely lighter than the Thrive one, as you can see. But for me, that's like the kind of bronze that I like on an everyday basis. This one I love when I wear like more full coverage looks, but it's still a great bronzer for any look that you do. But this one is just such an easy, buttery bronzer. Obviously, like the name says, I know that a lot of people love this bronzer for a reason. It's just very lightweight, very blendable, and very buttery. So it's one of my favorites still. And then the one I was talking about, again, that I was a little bit hesitant to get because Kathleen Light said she didn't really love it. But I ended up really liking it. Where is my other bronzer? Oh, right here. Adoy. And this is the Wet n Wild Color Icon Bronzer in the shade Ticket to Brazil. This one is much more warmer tone than the Milani one. But again, this one's a really, really nice everyday bronzer as well. It's really blendable. Again, it's super lightweight. Alright, sorry. I just had a little bit of a coughing attack. I'm going to drink a little bit more water. I'm just going to speak like really low and hopefully it'll help. But yeah, I really enjoyed this bronzer as well as an everyday bronzer. It was really, really good. I don't really have much to say about bronzers. Like, bronzers aren't really like my favorite makeup item, but I have gotten much more into bronzers than contouring over the last couple of years, and these are the few that I do enjoy. So I do really like this one as well, and this one's like the cheapest one that I'm mentioning. It's like $4 or $5, and it's really nice, and I think it's just as good as the Milani one. I find like it's almost like a dupe for it, and again, it's like really glowy and really beautiful as an everyday bronzer. Okay, and then, of course, I can't say my best or favorite bronzers without mentioning this one, and this is the Fenty Beauty Instant Warmth Bronzer. Can I speak today? In the shade Into Sun, and this one, again, I think this was the only high-end bronzer that I purchased besides the Thrive one. These were like the only two that I was really interested in. And I got this one around like July or August, and I really liked this one. I thought that was just such an easy, soft bronzer to use. I think it was kind of similar to the Thrive. Yes, Cameron walked them. And this one was a really nice, soft bronzer. A little bit softer than the Thrive one. The Thrive one was a little bit more pigmented. And it was a really nice bronzer, I feel like, and I used it for every day, or I used it for like more full coverage looks, and I find that it was just a really nice lightweight bronzer. It wasn't too pigmented, which I kind of like. I know Andrea Mattiliano said that she didn't really love it, but I like these kind of bronzers that, again, that have a lot lighter coverage and don't have too much pigmentation, because that's just more like my jam with bronzers. So yeah, really like this one too. I feel like I look so awful right now, probably just because I feel awful. And then the last bronzer I wanted to mention, I don't love the scent of this bronzer, but I really, really liked it, and I'm really glad that Chip got this for me, and this is the Guerlain Terracotta Light, the Sun-Kissed Healthy Glow Powder. This is a really beautiful powder for light skin tones. Beautiful bronzer for light skin tones. It's really, really buttery and beautiful. And again, it doesn't swatch like the greatest, but it's really soft and beautiful on the skin. And it gives you a really healthy glow from within, I feel like, with this bronzer. So I really did enjoy it. It is a really expensive bronzer, though. Thank you so much for getting it for me. And it is a really nice, like, healthy glow powder. That's basically what it does, and it's really pretty on the skin. And then, of course, I don't know if I mentioned this last year, but I just wanted to mention it again as my favorite bronzer when I do more full coverage looks. It's still the best besides the Thrive one, and this one is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Powder Bronzer in the shade Rosewood. It's just such a beautiful pigmented bronzer, and it's just really, really good. So, and again, this one's a little bit more pigmented. It has a little bit more of a warmer tone as opposed to the Thrive one. But I do love warm tone bronzers as well. So Anastasia just makes great powder products. I loved her foundation. I loved her highlighters this year. So she definitely came out with some great products. I'm just like not too crazy about her eyeshadow anymore. But everything else that she comes out with, I really am a fan of. So I just don't really buy her eyeshadows anymore. But everything else, I really still really love from her line. So that is it for bronzers. Again, if I wasn't too descriptive, I'm sorry. I just want to tell you guys my favorites because I don't really feel like talking too much. So I'm going to try and tell you guys my favorites as much as I can, but I don't know if I'm able to last like this long, honestly. Alright, so let's move on to, I guess we'll do blushes next. So my favorite blush that I tried this year was the Beauty and the Beast Belle blush from the Midnight Masquerade collection in the shade Enchanted Mirror. I liked the Floating Lights one, but this one I really loved, so I'm just going to mention this one. I really liked that one, but this one was like my favorite everyday blush. Like as soon as they came out with it, I mean, I do feel like I kind of have a similar skin tone to Belle and kind of similar hair. I'm not saying I look like her, but I do have probably the most similar skin tone to her skin tone as opposed to the other princesses. So I knew that this blush was going to be perfect for me. And it's just such a stunning blush on the face. It is such a beautiful satin, peachy pink color, and I absolutely adore it. So this was definitely like my favorite blush this year. I just absolutely loved it. Like the whole line of this collection was just so stunning. I loved almost every product from it, but this was definitely the standout blush for me was this one. I loved it so much. Then another one of my favorite blushes this year was the Marc Jacobs Flesh and Fantasy. What are these called? The Soft Glow Duo Air Blush in the shade Flesh and Fantasy. I got this during the Vibe sale in like August, and this is what it looks like. It's just a really beautiful, like, everyday nude toned blush. You guys know I really love nude toned blushes. So that one is Flesh and Fantasy right there. I wore it with so many eyeshadow looks this year. And again, it has a really beautiful pigmented formula. It just glides on the cheeks and it ends up being really, really nice on the cheeks. So I really do enjoy this blush as well. You don't have to pay $50 for this blush, though. You can go out and get a ColourPop blush and call it a day instead of spending $50 on that. But I only got it because it was during the Vibe sale. There's not too many blushes I'm going to mention, to be honest. This one, oh, you know what? Let's mention this one first because this one was a great one as well. This one is and this was in a lot of people's Best in Beauty, in Andrea Matteliano's and Kathleen Light's. These were some great blushes. And I'm talking about the Buxom Wanderlust Primer Infused Blush, and this one is in the shade Seychelles. This was a really, really, really good blush formula. They are kind of like a cream to powder formula, but they don't feel like a cream. They just glide on. They're like the smoothest powder ever, and they're also super, super pigmented. It also has like a beautiful glow to them, and it's like really hard to like find like a super glowy pigmented blush. Like usually glowy blushes have a little bit less of a pigmentation to them than like matte ones, and these ones are just like perfect. I really wanted to try another one of these, but I just never got around to purchasing another one, and plus like since I bought so many eyeshadow palettes this year, but I think I might try one of these another shade of these in the future, but they were really, 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 really good formula. And then the next one that really impressed me was the ColourPop Sticks, and this is the ColourPop Sticks blush in the shade, I forget what the shade of this is. Under Pressure, it's right on the top. And I was actually really surprised how much I liked this. I didn't like it the first time I used it, and then I actually learned how to use it, and then I was like, oh, it's actually really, really nice. So it's a really beautiful, like, peachy tone blush, and I really use this a lot in the summertime, and it's just, like, a really easy, like, cream product to use, and they actually, you know, have really nice buildable, pigmentation, and it just ended up being really, really pretty on the cheek, so I actually ended up really liking this as well. What's the next one I really like? Sorry, I just feel like shit. I had to be up at 5 in the morning, to be at work, and my boss ended up not showing up, so I went back home and went to sleep for like 5 hours, and I still have a headache. I just got a headache again, even though I took some more Advil like an hour ago, because I was coughing so much in the bathroom, so it kind of like formed some tension over here and ended up like hurting my head, so now I have like a headache again, so it's just great. And then the other blushes that I really ended up falling in love with from ColourPop were the ColourPop and Kathleen Lights collab blushes, and these are the 4 shades that came out. Of course, I ended up loving the shade Lunar Has It, was probably my most used blush this year. It's such a beautiful, like, nude tone everyday blush. And this is what it looks like. Where did I swatch it? Right here. It's just a run-of-the-mill basic blush, but it's so beautiful for every day. And the shade I Need Space is a really beautiful, like, mauve tone color. I gotta whip this one out and use it again. I use Lunar Has It literally all the time. But this one was a really good blush as well. So, and of course, the orange shade was beautiful, and this shade, this is so retrograde in my Sun and Stars. Absolutely stunning. I'm not going to swatch every single product in this video, but they're really beautiful, like, summer shades. I used them so much in the summertime, more so than Modern Mandarin. This pretty much replaced that one for me from MAC. And this was just such a unique color. Oh my god, so pretty. They really are stunning on the cheeks. And then the next blushes I really, really loved this year were the Alamar Cosmetics blushes. And this is the Fair Light Blush Trio. Caitlin, can you say blush? And the 3 shades are, like, this really pretty shimmery, like, summery kind of blushes again. And we have Castaway, Paraiso, and Scorcher. These are really pretty blushes as well. I find that I mix these 2 together. I just wear this one by itself, or I wear the other 2 by themselves. And they're really, really beautiful, blendable blushes. And they're really soft on the cheeks, and I really, really like them. So this one is Castaway, and this one is Scorcher. They just have, like, a really beautiful, like, shimmery tone to them, and they're really, really pretty. So I really like those. And then my other favorite blush palette was the, oh my god, can I not drop this? This is like the one blush I can't drop because it's like so shattered, and I just dropped it again. Great job. I loved this blush palette from Besame Cosmetics. Oh my god, I really want to try more products from Besame, but I really just wanted to pick up, sorry, my nose is starting to run again. I ended up loving this Sleeping Beauty blush palette from Besame. The formula in here is so good. These are so buttery and pigmented, like, holy crap. So beautiful. These 2 blushes are beautiful. I use this darker tone, like, nudish, nudie, shimmery color as a blush. and it's so beautiful. And then the highlight in here is absolutely stunning. I should have used it as my highlight today, but I just used some basic ass products today for my look. I used Moonstone because Becca's Moonstone. Becca highlighters are still amazing. And I used Warm Soul from MAC on my cheeks, but I could have used these. The highlight in here. Oh wait, we're not talking about highlights yet, Caitlin. Wait a minute. The blushes in here are great though. This one I love as a blush. You probably could use it as a highlight on a darker skin tone. But it's such a beautiful blush shade, and then the pink is beautiful as well. It's a horrible swatch, but that's what it looks like. So beautiful and pigmented, these blushes and highlights from Besame, but we'll save that and talk about it for highlights as well. And then we only have a couple more blushes to talk about. And then the last blush palette that I wanted to mention that I tried in 2019 that I ended up falling in love with. And I tried this at the tail end of 2019. Sorry, I keep on losing my voice. And this is the Jouer Cosmetics Rose Cut Gems palette. Oh my god, these blushes are so beautiful. I really love the neutral tone blushes in here, like Crystalline and Peach Quartz. And then these are beautiful as well. All of them just glide on the cheeks so beautifully, and they're so intense and so pigmented. I love these so much more than the blush duos that everybody raves about from Jouer. I just think these have better pigmentation and a better formula. I find that the blush duo that I got is much more dry. I think that these are much better, so that's why I mentioned these over that in this video. So this one is Crystalline, this one is Peach Quartz, and this one is Tease Me. So those are just a couple of the shades, but I ended up reaching for these so much in the last month that I got this, and I ended up falling in love with these. They are so, so good. The highlight, not so much, but the blushes, yes, so good. Okay, I need to blow my nose again. Okay, then the next blush that I really loved was the Thrive Cosmetics Cosmo Power Multi-Dimensional Strobing Blush in the shade Rosy. This is a really pretty pinky blush, and again, it's like that shimmery tone blush. It's also stunning to look at, but again, it has such a beautiful glow on the cheeks, and again, Thrive Cosmetics just really impressed me with their formulas this year, and their powder products were just stunning. So they are a little bit expensive, but honestly, I feel like it is worth it to try some of their products because they're so beautiful and they go to like a great cause. I keep on getting so nasally, it's really annoying. And then from ColourPop, I also ended up falling in love with this pink blush. This was one of my favorite blushes this summer. I only got to wear it a few times, but this is from the Strawberry collection, and this one is called See You Later. I really was wanting a hot pink blush from ColourPop, and I thought that this one would be perfect, and again, I fell in love with it. It's so freaking pigmented, as you can see, and it's so beautiful and blendable on the cheeks. Again, ColourPop makes some great blushes as well. So I just thought this was such a cute little collection, and I wanted something from it, and the blushes I thought were beautiful, and I definitely wanted a pink blush. So I don't think I mentioned these in my Best in Beauty in 2018. I don't remember. Maybe I didn't love them as much in 2018, but I was looking through my video, and I was like, I didn't mention them. I was like, didn't I not pick them up till the beginning of this year? I'm not really sure. So I'm going to mention the Milani Baked Blushes. I don't know if I mentioned them. If I did, I'm sorry. But these were some of my favorite blushes this year as well. I loved Luminoso. I mean, I think so many people love this blush. But honestly, it's an amazing blush, you guys. If you haven't tried Milani's Luminoso, it is stunning. Do you see that? It's so beautiful. But it also shows up way more pigmented on the cheeks. It's not as glowy on the cheeks. Once you put it on, it transforms. It's so stunning. And then Rosa Romantica, I'm lying. I thought I was wearing Warm Soul today. I'm wearing this blush today. This is also a really beautiful everyday blush, but you can also use it as a highlight, and it's stunning as a highlight as well. I've used it as a highlighter, and it's really, really beautiful. So that one is Rosa Romantica right there. Again, Milani products are stunning. I haven't really tried any Milani products that I don't like. And then I don't know if I mentioned this in 2018 either. I think I got this in 2019. But I used this a ton this year as well. And I really loved the NYX Ombre Blush in the shade Nude to Me. This one is also really beautiful. I think I'm going to have to stop filming and film the rest of this like with the highlights another time because I can't talk anymore. This one is beautiful. It's so pigmented. I love this blush. These ombre blushes from NYX are amazing. I like these even more than the the little square ones that I used to have. These ombre blushes are amazing. So beautiful on the skin. I feel like no one talks about these, but these are amazing. I really want another shade in them. They're stunning. And then another blush I really liked was the MAC Into Eternity Electric Wonder Iridescent Powder. Again, packaging is freaking stunning on this, first of all. And this is a really pretty, like, shimmery, look at the inside, it's stunning. It's a really beautiful shimmery tone, like, blush type of bronzer powder almost, but I use it as a blush because I feel like it'd be too dark for me as a bronzer. And it's really, really pretty. You have to put it on the cheeks in order to see what it looks like, but it is a really pretty blush. But if you're not going to get it to collect it for the packaging, I would say you don't really need it. I feel like these products from MAC were a little bit confusing to figure out how to use them this year. Like the ones that came out with the spring collection, I didn't really understand how to use them. This one made more sense as a blush. I feel like the other one didn't really perform as a blush as well as this one did. But it was good. I liked it. And then the last blush is the Flower Beauty Flower Pots Powder Blush in the shade Sweet Pea. Flower Beauty blushes are amazing. If you're looking for a pigmented blush for a good price, and these sometimes are on sale for like half price, these are really good. It's a really pretty like mauve-y toned blush, and it's so pretty. So I definitely really like that as well. I love the Peach Primrose shade as well, but the Flower Beauty blushes are great. Flower Beauty makes some great powder products. Their highlighting palette is amazing as well. So, so good. Okay, I'm just going to finish filming this right now. I feel like I feel a little bit better. And then the last blush I wanted to mention is the, because I almost forgot to mention this, is the Laura Geller Baked Blush in the shade Catalina, which is kind of cool because my Spanish name technically is Catalina because my name is Caitlin. So I thought that was kind of cool. This is a really, really pretty blush as well. I found this one at Marshall's, and it's a really beautiful baked formula, and I really, really like it. Why is my hair driving me nuts? And it's a really pretty pink, and it has a really nice pigmented formula, so I like that one as well. And that is it for blushes. Sorry that I kind of rushed through it, but there wasn't really too many blushes that I tried. I also loved the Burt's Bees blushes. I also loved these in 2019. And then this Essence Satin Touch blush I really loved. And then, and this one's in the shade Satin Coral. The Burt's Bees ones are in the shades Bare Peach and Toasted Cinnamon. But there wasn't really too many other blushes that I tried in 2019. Those were pretty much the best ones that I tried. I always end up sticking with Makeup Geek or MAC blushes most of the time, so I don't really like use too many other ones. So when I do find ones that I use a lot more, then those are the ones that I use. Alright, so now let's jump into highlighters. Honestly, there's not too many highlighters I need to talk about. I thought I tried a lot of highlighters in 2019. I did, but these were like the best of the best for me. So I feel like this was the year that I really fell in love with loose highlights. And the ones that I have to say that were my favorite ones of 2019 were the Anastasia Beverly Hills highlighters. And this one's in Snowflake. And this one is in So Hollywood. These are just so ridiculously intense. And I really honestly love these so freaking much. I'm going to try and swatch them for you guys. So this one is Snowflake. This one is such a stunning, like, winter highlight. It's just so freaking beautiful. If you guys are looking for something super intense and you haven't found it, you need to try these because these are stunning. And then So Hollywood is literally so amazing. So Hollywood, so amazing. But honestly, these are, I haven't found any other highlighters that are this beautiful. Like, nothing beats how intense these are. Anastasia highlighters are literally the best of the best. That's why I have so many in my collection. She knows how to make highlights. I don't know what it is, but her highlighting formula is absolutely stunning. So I absolutely fell in love with these in 2019. These were definitely my most used highlighters this year. I love them so freaking much. What is going on over there? I don't know. I think I just kind of wiped off a little bit of my foundation, but I really don't care because that's what's going to happen all day today to me because I'm going to be blowing my nose anyway, but absolutely love those. And then I also really loved, of course, I can't mention a Best in Beauty without mentioning an Ofra highlight, and I loved the Ofra Madison Miller collab in the shade Moon Dance. This is also a stunning highlighter. It's so freaking pretty. And again, the Ofra highlight formula is absolutely stunning. I don't know how they do it. They're just so beautiful and intense. And this was one of my favorite highlights ever since I bought it. It's just so fucking pretty. I love it so much. So I definitely loved that. Then, like I said, the Besame highlight. Oh my god, it's so stunning. This is like just purely intense on the skin. There's like no like super glitter in here. It's just so beautiful and it looks like nothing in the pan, but once you put it on your face, it's so intense and it just glides on. It really is a stunning highlighter and it's right here. Honestly, you really just have to apply it to your face and that's the only way you're gonna like find that it is so stunning because it doesn't swatch that great, but once it's on the face, it is stunning, like absolutely stunning. So really love that. Then also, of course, I can't mention Best in Beauty without mentioning a few of my favorites from ColourPop. So let's just go through those really quickly. The first one is the Dreamscape highlight, which is this one right here. This one is so beautiful. It's so intense and it's such a unique undertone, but it's beautiful. This is one of the best ColourPop highlighters as well. It's kind of very similar to the Madison Miller one. It's a little bit lighter. It's right there. They're kind of very similar in formula as well. It's just as intense as the Ofra one. It's just beautiful. I absolutely love the Dreamscape one. So pretty. Of course, my favorite highlighter from ColourPop this year was the Maleficent highlight. Oh my god, the Disney Villains Maleficent highlighter. So beautiful. This is already like my #1 affordable highlight, so I have to mention this as being my favorite highlighter that I tried in 2019. This highlight is absolutely beautiful. It's so intense and it just adds such a beautiful intensity to any highlight. Like when I ever had, like look at that, so stunning. It's called Mistress of All Evil. It's Maleficent's highlighter, obviously. Whenever I had like a lackluster highlight or I felt like my highlight wasn't really like showing up that day, I would just pop this on top and it was so freaking stunning. So I love this guy. And then of course the other two highlights I had to mention were the ones from the Midnight Masquerade collection. Of course I have to mention pretty much everybody's favorite highlight from ColourPop this year. The Maleficent one is still my favorite, but the Cinderella highlight, Horse and Carriage, was one of the best highlights that ColourPop has ever come out with because it's so stunning and intense. So beautiful. Everybody loves this highlight for a reason. It's not as glittery as the Maleficent one. Look how intense that is. Ridiculous how beautiful that is. So that is definitely one to try, because if you haven't tried this and you have a fair skin tone, you really need to, because it's stunning. I'm sorry that my nose is running. I feel so bad, like, every time that happens. I really am trying to, like, wipe my nose, but this is stunning. Absolutely love it. And then, of course, I love the Aurora highlight as well. Aurora is my favorite princess, and as you can tell, I used the crap out of this as well. It is pretty well loved from me. It's a stunning peachy tone one. I actually prefer this one a little bit more than the horse and carriage one. Of course, the horse and carriage one is still stunning, but Aurora just holds a special place in my heart, and since I have the one from Besame and the one from ColourPop, I was just so happy that they came out with an Aurora highlight, because I love Aurora so much. And it's such a beautiful, stunning, like, duochrome peachy shade. I love it. So beautiful. So that is it from ColourPop. And then, of course, another highlight I fell in love with was the Benefit Cookie Highlighter from the Cheek Leader Mini Bronze Squad from Sephora. And the shade is called Cookie. Everyone went nuts over this after Jaclyn Hill mentioned it in her favorites video. And honestly, if it wasn't for Jaclyn Hill, a lot of people wouldn't have tried this highlighter. It is so freaking stunning, you guys. It really, the hype is real. It's so intense on the cheeks, and it just glides on. It's like a buttery cream formula, and Benefit just coming out with these beautiful highlights. I didn't even think that they could slay the highlight game, but they came out with basically one of the best high-end highlights this year, and this highlighter is amazing. I really wish I would have waited to get the individual one though, but I never owned I've never owned Hoola bronzer, and I've never owned the blush in here, which is Gold Rush, so I was like, this is kind of worth it for me to get the trio, so I can try all three products out, so I don't have to pay for the individual ones. So, and then we only have a couple more. Let me just wipe off my hand, because we're getting too many swatches on there. And then the other high-end highlights I really liked. Of course, I have to mention this one. This was one of my favorites, and this is the Milk Makeup Flex Highlighter in the shade Iced. Oh my god. So pretty. I keep on getting more hungry as I'm talking, but we're almost done. This is stunning. It, again, has like that cream to powder kind of formula. So beautiful. Seriously, so stunning. It's really super creamy, and it's so intense and gorgeous on the cheeks. I absolutely love this highlighting formula from Milk, even more than the Quad. These are just super creamy. Milk Makeup comes out with some really cool products, and this highlight was freaking stunning. I absolutely love the formula of this. It's so, so, so good, and I love the packaging. And then Natasha Denona, hello, this highlight is beautiful. This is the Super Glow Duochrome Highlighter in the shade 01 Fair. It's ridiculous how pretty this is on the skin. It's one of my favorites this year. Again, as you can see, I've used a lot of this a lot, because there's so much kick up on the pan, but this is stunning as well. Again, it doesn't really swatch like anything. You really just have to put these on the face, but I tried these because of Stephanie Nicole, and this is literally the only highlight she ever recommends anymore, and it is freaking beautiful. Look how intense and beautiful that is. It is so stunning on the cheeks. It never looks bad. Like, it never looks dull. It always looks super intense on the cheeks, and I absolutely love this highlight. So this is another great product from Natasha Denona as well. And then another high-end highlighting palette is the Dior Backstage highlighting palette. I don't think I mentioned this in my last video because I tried it at like the tail end of 2019, but I definitely used this a ton in 2019 because I got it at the tail end of 2018. So I was using this pretty much almost every single day in like January, and I absolutely loved these shades. They're super sparkly and super intense as well. They're so beautiful on the cheeks. So those are some of the colors. Look how intense those are. So it's these two in this pink. I mean, I pretty much only use it for those shades. I don't use the bronzer shade in here, but I use the pink and the white and the gold for highlight shades because the pink is just too shimmery for me to use as a blush. It's not really my cup of tea. I have more water in this water bottle right here, so but beautiful. Love these as well. Dior makes some amazing products as well. And they're not really that expensive. Like the Backstage line is like the same price as like typical like Urban Decay and other products. It's pretty much priced as like mid-range, like $40. So this was $40, so I didn't think it was a bad price for Dior. And then another high-end highlight that I fell in love with, and then we only have a couple more left, is the MAC Aladdin highlight. This one really impressed me. I didn't think I was going to love this one that much, but this is a really beautiful highlight as well. It is a little bit too gold for me, but it's such a beautiful formula. Again, MAC makes some great highlights, and they have a great highlighting formula as well. It's a little bit yellow gold, but at the same time, it's a really pretty highlight. This was definitely my favorite product that I tried from the MAC Aladdin line. It was just such a pretty highlight, so I loved that. And then the last like loose highlight and high-end highlight I'm going to mention, I forgot to mention one more from ColourPop, but this is the Artist Couture Diamond Glow Powder in the shade Illuminati. This is really beautiful as well. I don't love the Artist Couture ones as much as I love the Anastasia ones, but this one is very, very pretty as well. I do really love it mixing it with other highlighters, and it is really stunning. So it's not like it's a bad highlight. Honestly, I don't think Mac Daddy knows how to make a bad highlighter. They're beautiful. And it's right there. So pretty. They just add a beautiful glow to any highlight that you apply. It's such a beautiful topper, and it's gorgeous on the skin. It's really, really beautiful and stunning. So, and this one, again, was in this shade Illuminati. Really, really beautiful. That's like his most popular shade, I think. And now let's mention a couple from the drugstore. I really didn't try too many from the drugstore this year. My favorite one was definitely the Master Chrome by Face Studio by Maybelline. And this is the Nikkie Tutorials one in the shade 250. This one is so beautiful. Maybelline makes such gorgeous highlights. And again, it's so buttery, like so creamy. And this one is freaking stunning on the skin. I absolutely love this one. And it's right there. Oh my god, look at that. Isn't that ridiculous how intense that is? It's just, I feel like I love this one even more than the gold and the pink, because this undertone just like works so well for my skin. I used this so much in 2019 because I definitely got this earlier in the year, like March or February. So beautiful. I love this one. She slayed it with Ofra and with Maybelline when it comes to, for her to finally come out with some good ass highlighters and not those like ridiculously bad ones that she came out with Too Faced. So and then of course I had to mention the ColourPop. I forgot to mention this with the other ColourPop ones that I mentioned, but this is the stick in the shade Bullseye. So pretty. This is gorgeous. I might even tap it on a little bit over what I'm wearing. It is just adds such a beautiful intensity. I'm just going to tap it over with my finger. Like, how pretty is that? Let me just see what it looks like. Let's just grab this little Natasha Denona mirror. My nose is running like crazy. Hold up. Hold on, sorry. Oh my god, I'm such a mess. I don't even know if half of these tissues have like but I feel like since my highlight's like kind of wearing off because I keep on wiping my nose, I'm like, let's just reapply a little bit. Why the fuck not? And then I kind of have to reapply my lipstick too, because I'm just a hot mess right now, but look how stunning that is. It just adds this beautiful, like, intensity to anything, and it's so, I just feel like, again, that these were kind of underrated from ColourPop, because I feel like ColourPop's releases kind of overshadow the next one, and I feel like these don't really get their moments, but again, I feel like these were much more of an, like, interesting and innovative products for ColourPop to use, that they oversaturate themselves by releasing too many things, and this was one of their standout releases for me, and this is such a stunning highlighter. It's so pretty. It's just so easy, and it adds such a natural, beautiful intensity. I love it. And then the last three, we're down to the last three. The only other one I tried from the drugstore was the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Highlighting Powder in the shade Bloom Time. I mean, the Mega Glow highlights are so stunning anyway, like any of these are going to be beautiful, but I knew that I wanted to try this one for the springtime, and it is beautiful. I absolutely love it. It's like a beautiful shimmery rose gold color, and it's so pretty. Look at that. If you haven't tried the Wet n Wild Mega Glow highlighters, they are the most beautiful, like, inexpensive highlighters you could find. They're so intense, and they're only like $5. And they're amazing. They have a cult following for a reason. Oh my god, why do I keep on forgetting ColourPop highlighters? I found another one that I forgot, and I would be kicking myself if I didn't mention this. So the actual last one I need to mention is the ColourPop Super Shock Cheek highlighter in the shade Flexitarian. I finally jumped on the Flexitarian bandwagon, and I finally tried it this year. And I was like, oh my god, this is absolutely amazing. How have I not tried this? It is so beautiful, you guys. It made me fall in love with the Super Shock highlighting formula again from ColourPop. Look at that. Look how pretty that is. Excuse me. This is literally stunning. And it's just beautiful. Like, if you haven't tried Flexitarian from ColourPop, this and the Maleficent one are like my two favorites. Like, but basically any ColourPop highlight I mentioned in this video, ColourPop has an amazing highlighter formula. So, but Flexitarian, if you need something that will change your life in intensity, I would go for that. And then the last ones finally I have to mention are the Jaclyn Hill highlighters. I ended up really, really liking these, and a lot of people ended up liking these, so don't hate on me for liking them, but my boyfriend's texting me. So this is the Jaclyn Hill Flash Palette, and this is beautiful. I used this a ton, as you guys can see. The only thing I would say about it is that it does have a ton of kick up on it, so that's the only thing I don't love. It is a kind of messy product to use, but these are stunning. These are some of the best highlights that I tried this year. Honestly, the formula really reminds me of Becca highlighters, and they're so easy to use. Again, they never look bad. They're always super intense. This one is Gleam, and this one is Iced, and they are stunning. I'm just looking at my highlight right now, and it does look pretty good still, but these are really good. If you don't love Jaclyn, then I do not recommend these, because I understand where you're coming from. I get it, but I was really intrigued on trying these, and after I tried them in the store, I was like, I kind of want to try them. And what sucks even more is that I had to get these from Morphe, but if I didn't swatch these in store and I didn't like them, I was not willing to go and return them. But after I swatched them in store, I'm like, these are stunning. And if I ordered them from the website and I ended up not liking them, I wouldn't have really been able to return them. So I was like, I would rather get them from Morphe, just in case if I do need to return them, at least I could probably return them there. So, but again, stunning. I actually ended up really loving that, and that was one of my favorite highlighting palettes of the year. And then, of course, I have to mention the loose highlighter, which is called Extra. Again, been using this a ton, and it is absolutely stunning. This is super intense. It adds a beautiful intensity to anything. Look at that. I mean, come on. That is just as good as my Anastasia highlighters. Again, really impressed with that. So, again, really fell in love with a lot of loose highlighters this year. And yeah, that is it, you guys. I'm so glad you guys sat through this hot mess of a video. Hopefully I'll feel better soon. Please let me know what your favorite blushes, bronzes, and highlights, blushes, bronzers, and highlighters, not blushes and bronzes, of 2019 were. I would love to know. I need to leave. Please like and subscribe. Follow me on all of my social media. I love you guys. Bye.